All right. Hello, everyone. Can everybody see and hear me? Awesome.
Well, I can see and hear you, Heather.
Yay. Hi, Kathy. Awesome. Wonderful. And we both have our fabulous headset earbuds on, too. So awesome. That's great. Cool. All right. Can you hear us okay, everybody? Let's see. Awesome. And see us all right? Good. Check on check, check. Cool. Great. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
cool. So today we're here to start off the first Women in Technology webinar series, and so I want to thank you for joining us and being a part of it. And it's great to finally do this. So we launched the community site a few months ago, and we're actively looking for writers as well. So I wanted to put the plug out there for all of you ladies in technology and men too. You can everybody can write and be a part, but we definitely are looking for folks to share their stories of how they got started in IT and people that inspire you, mentors, all that sort of thing. So just putting the plug out there. If you haven't been up there, it's at itunity.com, and it's actually in one of the. I'm pointing at
It's under
the thing.
community. It's under community, and then within community, there's the Women in Tech version of it in there. We have a call for content in that section, or you can also reach out to both Heather or myself on any platform, social media, email, anything that you want to connect with us, and we can help you get started. Love to get some of you involved in helping us to write your stories and share your experiences with the audiences that we have and be able to get more involved.
Awesome. So cool. So today we're gonna kick off with just a half hour talking about brand and personal brand and what it means to build one and how exciting and fun that can be. And then also I think maybe at the end or sort of part of the way through, we may open it up to take some questions and have a little bit of a discussion if that works. Okay, Lemon, is that going to be all right that we do that as well? Yeah.
And you can
And
always
yeah.
write your questions in the chat window there if you want to have questions
Awesome.
as we're going through, and we'll try to address those as well.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. So, do you want to, let's see, do you want to hit some slides? It's kind of fun.
I guess
Oh,
we should maybe intro ourselves first. Maybe tell
yeah,
them who we
actually.
are
Oh, yeah,
for
that's
those
right.
who
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know us.
go ahead, Kathy. Go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
So my name is Kathy Dew. Thank you again. I'm one of the co-curators for the Women in Technology space here on IT Unity, and I helped to found the Women in SharePoint group. Some of you who are SharePoint specific may have been involved or have attended some of our Women in SharePoint events as we've been along through the years. And so I have kind of a wide and varied background. I started out in advertising, so I worked for many years helping people to develop their brands. And then I kind of transitioned over to being an IT consultant focused primarily on user experience with SharePoint. And as that's evolved in the Office 365 world, very much focused on creating business solutions and requirements gathering and discovery and all of those kinds of business solution analyst roles. So I've had quite a varied background, and like I said, really excited to have you all join us today. What about you, Heather?
Awesome. Awesome. Yes, good point. I'm Heather Newman. Hello. I'm CMO and co-founder of Content Panda, and I also run Creative Maven, which is a marketing consultancy that I've had for a long time. And I've been a part of IT Unity, working with them for a long time as well. So it's great to be back on the show with them, which is very cool. I building my brand has been, yeah, one of those things. It's like it's like my name sometimes, and it's been my business sometimes, and so I'm really excited to sort of talk about that because it's kind of, it's funky sometimes to try and figure out who you are and what you want to say. I've been in the SharePoint community for, gosh, about 15 years. I started when it was called Tahoe. and I worked at Microsoft, and then I also have run my own business, Creative Maven, running all the sort of big events for Microsoft for a long time. So, and then I've worked at with a couple of partners, running marketing there. So I've done everything I think you can do in the SharePoint community on every side of it. So I've seen a lot of I've seen everything, I think, pretty much. So anyway, so that's me. And I live in California, so I'm shooting here out from the West Coast. A little sunshine, hopefully. So, although it's probably super hot where everybody else is, isn't it? Probably. Yeah, probably. So, anyway, so cool. So, getting into the sort of big, beautiful brand. Let me advance the slides here. So, I think sort of the big thing that, and anytime you go look at this anywhere on the internet, you pull up anything about it, you read about branding, you read about how to, get where you need to go on this, is being yourself. I mean, it's all about you, right? At the end of the day, your brand is about what makes you different. It's what your values are, what your passions are, what your talents are. I actually encourage you, while I'm talking, to get out a piece of paper and a pen. For a second. So do that right now, if you don't have one out. I think, it's really, for me, it's been about, I was a theater major, so I come at this with a, funny bent technology anyways. So I always sort of bring something a little different to it, and that's been my shtick. Literally, is that, I bring a little bit of that theater to everything I do, and that has been definitely a part of my brand and how I bring myself forth in the community. And so I think it's about understanding who you are, and really like doing some of that work too. There's a really good book that I put up here. It's Simon Sinek, Figure Out Your Why. If you haven't read that book, it's a really, really good one. And he's also got a TED Talk that's fantastic, that's about that as well. Kathy, have you read the book?
I have read that book. It's a really good book. Like Heather said, it's really nice to include little things about yourself. What are you passionate about? Do you love to travel? Do you have a hobby that's unique? What is it that you do? Like me, I went to art school, and so a lot of mine is about painting or quilting, or I collect shoes, and some of those fun facts are things that I tend to include in my personal brand and how I kind of put myself out there, because that's me. And when I'm trying to be passionate about something, I mean, I don't know what better thing you could be passionate about than being yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, and when in looking at the why part of it, so now that you have your pen and your paper out, I kind of encourage you, and I want all of us to do it really quickly. I want us to take, and I'm going to time us. I'm going to take 30 seconds, and I want you to write down just 3 sentences about yourself. Go.
Oh goodness, I didn't prepare.
You didn't. Everybody, seriously, I'm serious. I'll start it again.
I don't have any paper.
Oh, for God's sake. 30 seconds is not that long. 30 seconds is not that long. 3 sentences about yourself. Go. Right. Didn't know this was going to be interactive, did you? Lyman and Eric, you should be doing this too.
Okay. Have mine.
All right. That's about 30 seconds.
3.
Good. 1, 2, 3. All right, good. We might get to this. We might get to these later, but good. We'll start there. Awesome. Yeah, and so I mean, I think honestly, at the end of the day, this is a big one. Being yourself and really being able to put yourself out there. That's the other thing too about, and that actually goes into the next slide. It's about claiming your name, and claiming your space, I guess, in the world. I didn't put the domain name up there. I was going to, Kathy, but like for example, this is who we are, you know, in the world of social media. I'm Hedda Newman, and Kathy is Cat Paint One. And one of the things that, you know, it's like looking at some facts. I keep pointing at the screen. Sorry. Looking at some facts, you've got, you know, 1.7 billion zillion people posting, pinning, tweeting, vining, and Instagramming. So you've got, you know, there's this huge digital landscape out there that if you're not using it, that's how people are figuring out who you are. And if you're not using it, you're missing out, I think. And so, I mean, most people are on all the different mediums, but if you're not, and if you've not claimed your name, and you've not claimed it across all of the different spaces available, you should. And if you can have it be the same, I'm the same across, I think, just about everything. So if you're looking for me on Twitter, on Vine, on, you know, Instagram, all that stuff. Yeah, all of that. You know, it's good to be the same. And if you aren't, go change it. You know, if you don't have a ton of followers, because it's really important, I think, to have that that consistency across, and also try them. I think that's the other thing that's kind of fun too. Like, people are like, "Oh, well, you're on Snapchat." I'm like, "Well, yeah." And Kathy and I Snapchat all the time to each other. It's hilarious, you know. And yeah, we do actually. That's totally funny. Yeah, so I think it's one of those things where it's like, go try those mediums out, I think, and because people are starting to use them even more and more for marketing, right? And then also, I think the big one is LinkedIn. That's another one that we can talk about a little bit more, but I think, you know, claiming your name is really important, and having consistency across if you haven't before. Yeah. Anything you want to say about that?
And there's also a few instances where it makes sense to not have the same name everywhere. Like Heather was saying, one of the places that I mentioned this is domain names. So for me, Cat Paint One is my username. I have email addresses. Pretty much if you ever needed to get in contact with me, you could email at basically catpaint1 at any of the main, you know, Gmail, Yahoo, Live Mail. I have that across all of them. But if you also are looking for me on social media, that's there. But I also made a very strategic move when I went to purchasing domain names for myself as to establishing my online website presence. So my blog site is SharePointCat.com, because what I put on that blog site is very much SharePoint related. It's SharePoint news, it's women in SharePoint, it's women in tech, and it has the cat in it, so it's got kind of that whimsical, and it ties back to my Twitter handle and all of that. But then I also have a site that I'm currently working on it. It's not live right now, but my personal, like, kind of company and online presence is actually I Do Design. My last name is Dew, like Mountain Dew, so it's I, because that's what I do. I do design. And so that's a choice that I made to move away from my more social presence of Cat Paint One into a more business presence with both my SharePointCat.com and my I Do Design. Now, granted, with each of them, I will link to that and say, here's how you find me on social media, and then I'll use that united Cat Paint One there. But the actual web presence, I chose to go with a domain name that was slightly different. Yeah. So there are some cases where choosing and claiming your name from your social media presence versus your web presence does make sense.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, I've actually had to do that too with Creative Maven. I pretty much have bought every domain name that is like in and around it, like new, first, events, marketing, media, blah, blah, blah. Because every blogger, there's lots of do-it-yourself bloggers that like the words Creative Maven. So I've had to, and it's not that big of a deal in a way, but at the same time it is your brand, you know? So it's sort of like, well, I guess I have to, you know, pay GoDaddy a lot of money to kind of own everything, like, around, you know, my domain name. It's kind of ridiculous. I looked the other day and I was like, this is ridiculous how many of these I own, but whatever. I did
But if you're
have
just
blogs.
getting started, if you're just trying to establish what your personal brand is, don't be afraid to separate those out.
Hmm.
Also, like on LinkedIn, as Heather was mentioning, LinkedIn is a really important component there. And while the Cat Paint one is tied in because that's one of the email addresses linked in to my LinkedIn profile and it uses that for my social media listings, I use my full name there on LinkedIn as to how I present myself. And so
Right.
it is okay to mix and match as needed based off the platform that you're going out after.
Yep, I completely agree. Cool. I think just there were some trends that I thought were interesting. That Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn are kind of holding the top spots for future, and that 66% of marketers plan on increasing their use of these. So I think people want to learn more about a lot of the social media areas, and I think it's kind of cool to look at like Buffer and Hootsuite and uh, HubSpot. All of those blogs are actually really good if you're looking for just how to do social media for yourself. I've
Hmm.
been reading up on those, and they're excellent. Basically, anything you would ever want to know about social media and how to do it, how to deal with it, is up there. And those trends, I think, are going to continue. It's like I don't think social media is going to go away anyway anytime soon, and so it's sort of like having to embrace it is kind of just what we have to do. Um, and let me see. I wanted to go to the
Yeah,
next one.
and I will say, Eric, who's one of the other people on IT Unity here, he's one of our editors there. He put in the chat window here for us to know that he once spoke to someone in HR who said that the first thing they do is look people up on LinkedIn, and if they don't have a LinkedIn profile, they never get a call for an interview. So it is important to make use of these social platforms and building your brand and how do I establish myself and how do I make my resume better and how do I, enhance myself to make myself more hireable and to move all of that out.
Yeah. I
Oh,
yes.
here's a great question for us, Heather, in our
Yeah.
chat
I
window
see.
here, by the
Yep.
way.
Yep.
From Sally, she's asking, should your profile on Facebook be pretty private? How do you trade off your brand with your personal privacy? So that's a great question. I can take a stab at it first, and
Oh,
then you
oh,
can
wait,
give your
go
perspective on
ahead.
it, Heather.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm good.
So for me, I kind of divide my social media up based off of how I want to interact with people. So my Facebook page, while I post a lot of stuff and I have a lot of friends on Facebook, I don't actually accept a Facebook friend request unless I've met that person in person.
Mm.
So I get a lot of requests on Facebook from SharePoint community people or IT community people. And
Mhm.
I'm a little bit more because I do post a little bit more personal information there, pictures of my friends and family and trips and things like that. So I tend to keep it a little bit separate, a little bit more personal. Twitter and LinkedIn and
Ooh, did we lose?
Instagram and everything else, I tend to be a little bit more open about it. So I tend to keep it more private just because, like I said, I only accept people that I've actually met, and then the rest of it I kind of am a little bit more open about it. So I think it's all about kind of picking and choosing how you want your interactions to go about. There's no right or wrong answer here. And so it's really more about which are you comfortable with. So I do have my Facebook where it's friends. Things like Snapchat I keep more open. Things like Instagram I tend to keep more open. Of course, I don't have children, so I will say that I know people that do have children tend to be a little bit more private about more social media aspects. And it's okay to set those boundaries where you feel comfortable and to really go about it that way.
Yeah. I mean,
What about you, Heather? How do you do it?
uh, I blend a lot. Twitter, it's kind of open. It's that to me is business and silliness, both. Like I tend to sort of tweet about a little bit of everything. And Twitter's more open in that way. Instagram feels like it's private, but it's not at all. So that's wonderful and dangerous, I guess, because photos are such photos are so personal, right? And people love sharing photos. So I think Instagram is really interesting to me because I think, that whole thing that just happened with the guy that was selling the Instagram pictures, that
Yes.
artist who was making a big stand about that, which that was really interesting actually. But with Facebook, I I also I'm not doing all that things that are really all that interesting actually, but I also am like don't post pictures of me doing X, Y, and Z, like even running around my pool or whatever, you know what I mean? So there's like things like that. I do have both friends and work on Facebook, and
Mhm.
I tend to use groups for myself. I use like inner circle kind of group kind of things for really for when I want to just be with my like really close friends. And I use it that way. But for the most part, my stuff is blended, and it blended so long ago that for me to go through 2,000 people is like, oh, for God's sakes, really, So I just I don't think I could kind of do it. But I do. You kind of trade off your privacy, I think. But I think I believe that nothing is private anymore. You get a picture of it or a video of it or whatever, it could go up somewhere, someplace, unless you have somebody to delete it or, get rid of it. All that stuff kind of lives forever. So you do have to be careful about that. I do think that kind of some of the givens that we put up, that own your name or your handle, understand that LinkedIn is your resume. And Eric, you made a great point in it, and I think that's absolutely true. I mean, I do it. Like, think about what you do when you're looking up somebody. I'm looking them up on LinkedIn, and I look them up on Facebook. I do. It's funny that I admit that, but I
I
totally
have
do.
a
So,
I have a few friends that are recruiters that look people up on Facebook, and
yeah,
this is something definitely. I do a lot of mentoring, and I mentor a lot of kids coming out of college, looking to get into the IT world and to get into the business world, and that's one of the things that you end up having conversations about is be a little bit mindful of what you not only what you post but what you allow other people to tag you in or
right.
post you in on
Mhm.
Facebook and things like that, because the last thing you want is a recruiter when you're out there trying to get a job looking you up on Facebook and finding someone else's profile that's not private that's maybe tagged you in a photo of you dancing in a fountain.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Well, and things are out of
maybe you don't
context.
want to be caught dancing in a fountain when it's professional. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense, but it's not on your page, it's on somebody else's, and you can't always manage that. I know that I laugh, and Heather kind of joked the same thing and said that she does it a little bit too. I have conversations with my friends. Look, I love going out and I love having fun with you and being wild and crazy, but I don't need wild and crazy to appear in social media.
Yeah.
So if we share wild and crazy photos, let's put them on Snapchat or let's text them between ourselves. Let's not post them on social media and tag each other. And
Yeah.
I find that a lot of people are very open to having that conversation with you and understanding. And I've been doing that for years now. I'd say probably 6 years. And I think I've only had one person that maybe crossed over that line, and I went back to them and said, hey, remember how we talked about not posting our crazy fun out on social media? And they were like, oh, yeah. And so they
Oh
actually went and
yeah.
removed it. And so it's definitely in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say Dan has been posting here in it, and he's very acquainted with some of these issues that come about from people taking photos and taking things
Yeah.
out of context. I think Dan is one of the most catfished people in the SharePoint community. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
definitely what you allow
Yep.
out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, and some other things, I guess. Oh, hello. Did we stop?
Yeah, you're there. You're just you paused for a second.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what's going on?
uh,
Anyway, can you still hear me?
we can hear you. Your camera's
You can hear
frozen,
me.
but we can still hear you. It's a
Okay,
fabulous
that's cool.
picture.
Hey, oh, look at me.
Yeah.
Um. Anyway, let me see if I can start it again. But let's see. As far as like Facebook and Google Plus, I mean, definitely, all the things that Dan is saying, absolutely fabulously true. It's like using tags, using close friends and all that sort of thing. And it's one of those important things about your brand, and about what you want to put out there in the world. So definitely paying attention to it is where it's at. Some of the other things that I was thinking about was sort of switching gears a little bit from social media, but talking about list building. And that's also something that's important, I think, just for yourself. Like you would think that I would have, from my Creative Maven days, like the hugest list available to myself to mail out to, and funnily enough, I don't. I haven't kept that list up, and so I've been rebuilding it over time. That's something to me that is really important, because you can have your own newsletter, you can have your own list of holiday people, but when you need a list, you need a list. So I think MailChimp is free, for God's sakes. You can set something up for yourself very easily to build something like that. And I think that's
Heather,
really important.
when you're talking about a list, you're talking about contacts and people that you've met and keeping that kind of a list, right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Yep. And I think that's something that, when you're inside of a corporation, or you're inside of a business, it's like, oh, well, I'm building their list, I'm building what's going on with them, I'm putting out their brand. But it's also something like, on a personal level, even just having an About Me page, or a page where you can have people become part of your world, I think is really important, and something that people don't do. But I think it's actually pretty necessary and kind of fun, because then it's like something, at the end of the year, you can send out a holiday card to, or you can send out different pieces to them about kind of what's going on in your life too. So I think that's something interesting to think about from a personal brand perspective. So let's see here. And yeah, branding's about digital, physical, and the whole package. So, people are like, well, what's your brand? Your brand, like Kathy's known for her shoes, like her fun, tall shoes, and it's like other people have different things that they're known for, that they either wear or that they do. Some people have a certain pair of glasses that they wear, and that they're known for that. So the branding is sort of the whole thing, right? It's not just your digital life, it's your physical life as well. And we're at the end of our half hour. I think we blew through that time.
So I kind of want to go through, Heather, if you'll switch on over to maybe the next slide there. This is one of the kind of things, kind of a cohesive about things that you should consider having as a part of your brand. What are the different things you should have? Make sure that you carry business cards at all times. I even carry business cards in my purse, and I have not just my work business cards, but I have a set of personal cards as well. Things that list my personal information, my personal blog site, things like that separate from my business. Make sure you have kind of each of these things. We wanted to open it up and ask if you have any questions. Post them there in the chat window. We're happy to address them. I know we're running out of time here. One of the things that Heather and I will do is we'll write up a short little post and maybe make this presentation into a PDF and put it out on the WIT site on IT Unity, and the link is there in the chat window, also in the resources there on the side, or you can always go out and visit the IT Unity site and look around and see what else is there. And we'll get that posted up in the next day or so, and I think the recording of this will be up as well, so lots of ways to catch up on this. And I would say, as we're kind of nearing the end of this, Heather and I, like I said, are always happy to answer questions on Twitter. You have our Twitter handles at CatPaint1 and at Hedda Newman. Please feel free to reach out to us, and let's keep talking about brand and how we build brand. And Heather and I will definitely take some actions around how to get this presentation out for more of you as well. And
also, can you still hear me? I keep trying to get back on. Oh, good. Well, that's good. Sorry, you can't see me. A couple of other things that are in the slide deck that you'll get to see. I've put the sizes for the different photos that you
Yes.
need for like Facebook and LinkedIn and all of that. That's a really good resource of knowing what sizes of things you need. So that's in there as well. And then sort of the last thing I wanted to say about this, and then we can wrap it up, is you know Eric, if you are short on time, which I think so. Priority-wise on the brand list, and maybe we can stick these in order of stack rank. But I definitely think LinkedIn profile, Facebook profile, because those are the things that people are looking at the most.
Yes.
I also do. I get asked for my resume sometimes, and I think having your resume up to date all the time is absolutely a must. I mean, I think it's one of those things. Put it on your calendar to do it once a month. I know that sounds silly, but when you need it, and it's usually like on a Friday at 5 o'clock. It's something stupid like that. So it's like I think that's a really big one. And then and business cards, or something fun. Like Kathy and I did these sticker like fun cards, the Moo cards, the different sizes and stuff. And you can do some things like that where you can stand out, and be different, and have some fun with it. Or even stickers, I think are kind of cool. The last thing that I wanted to say is about just learning to write and really making that a priority, because learning to write about yourself is really, really important. And like having those bios, having your little bio, your big bio, all of that kind of stuff at the ready, that's really important as well. So writing is about writing and rewriting and writing and rewriting until you get it right. And so that's something I think practice on yourself. That little writing exercise. So here's your assignment, your homework is go now for, say, time yourself for 1 minute, the 1 minute memoir. Write about yourself for 1 minute. That's your start of your bio, right? So that's something that you can do for yourself right today and get started with, maybe even changing your brand or updating your brand and giving it a little bit of a boost. So.
And I would say that any of you that want to take on that exercise, that if you want to see it evolve, I'll offer myself up for this, Heather. I won't offer you, but I know you'd love to help. Is that if you want to send it to us, we could help you with that. And we'd love to feature kind of a little bit of a thing of maybe a few of you sending us your 1 minute bio write-up and what recommendations we would give to tweak that to make it, better and things like that, and maybe feature that on the Women in Tech site there on IT Unity. And so if you're wanting to do that or wanting to maybe be participating in that, please feel free to reach out to us. Look on the site. We'd love to maybe feature some of these there and help you a little bit and let us kind of, we're always, Heather and I are definitely always people that are always thrilled to have conversation about how do you better your brand. And so if we could maybe take some of those little 1 minute bio exercises and walk through how to do them and what to do would be great there on the site.
Cool.
And I think it could really help a lot of other people as well.
Yeah, I'm in. Let's do it. I'm totally in. That's great. We can put up our email. I'm heather.newman@contentpanda.com. So easy peasy.
I'll put it here in the chat window.
Yeah. Oh yeah. How about that?
Any other questions?
Yeah. Or comments?
We have really thoroughly enjoyed doing this first in the series with you. And, we are looking forward to how we're going to continue and expand the series. We are always looking for ideas. So if there's something out there that you're wanting, other topics that you're wanting to hear about that you'd love to read things on or see webinars on, please let us know what those are. You can contact us through our emails here or also through the IT Unity, through the Women in Technology site there. And we'd love to hear more from you and be able to go out and do this. As I said, we'll post up do a little write-up on this and make these slides a PDF kind of thing and post them out there, and you guys will be able to get them once we do. We'll again tweet it out there so that you know that it's live and we've got it ready and you can go out there and get it. And we really appreciate you joining us today. Be on the lookout if you're attending any kind of conferences coming up this year. For the rest of the year, I know that at the end of August, if you happen to be attending the SP Technology Conference, SP TechCon there in Boston, I'll be hosting a Women in Tech panel there at that conference. If you're going to Dev Connections in Las Vegas in September, I'm hosting a Women in Tech panel there as well. So we do these a lot of different places, and we love to hear and find different places that we can go out and do events. So let us know, and please come in and talk to us.
Awesome. Yep. Cool. Great wrap up, Kathy. I don't have anything else to say. She nailed it. So I just thank you for your time, everybody, and we're looking forward to doing more of these. And we could probably even do another one about branding, go even deeper. But definitely send us anything else that you want to see. All right. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.